Yeah, there we go. We are live. Welcome to episode 44.
44 already, yeah?
44, man. Motoring through them.
Flying.
Motoring through them. I'm here with the famous wrestling coach, wrestler, all-round savage, Sergey. Sergey Pikulskiy. Pikulskiy, I gotta say.
Always a pleasure, John. Always a pleasure talking to you.
No worries. So, we're going to talk about a bit of wrestling.
That's what all I'm talking about, wrestling every day. I live by the wrestling rules, you know.
So you're from Moldova, but
yeah.
You would have came through the old kind of Soviet system of everyone wrestled, school.
Yeah, so I was born back in 84, so still was USSR. So I got a little bit of a childhood of living in this environment where, in fairness, I remember it was pretty. Everybody was smiling. Everybody had a good time. Everybody lived pretty well. Sport was on, in the Soviet Union on a high level. In Moldova. Moldova was always with good wrestlers. So wrestling is one of the, I'd say now, it is the major sport that brings the most medals in European and World Championship. And yeah, so we had a different environment that I can see when I was growing up after and the kids these days, where it's a lot more tougher, tougher, where we didn't even have, even at school, don't mind wrestling, even at school when you have the rope, when you have in the gym the rope, even at school we never even had the crash mat. Even in the school, it's in the basketball arena. You go climb the rope, and if you fall, everybody will be like, "Why did you fall? Why did you not get?" So it's just a different world altogether. And yeah, Moldova. I'm from the south of Moldova, where we used to be from the town where it was one of the richest town in Moldova, or in south of Moldova. So we have a lot of wine, obviously, grapes, peaches. I mean, it's a beautiful country, in fairness, with a lot of fruits and vegetables and good wine, very, very good wine. So we had a very rich town, but wrestling was one of the top priorities, because our director was actually a sambo champion, the USSR sambo champion.
Okay.
So
savage.
he was pushing this, and like in my village we had a world championship. We were champions. We had the medalists in Europeans of sambo, and freestyle wrestling. So I already had a good base, with the team. One of the coaches who started coaching me when I was 6, actually. I was at 6. It's 3 brothers, and all of 3 brothers coaching me. They all got into the world championship. They've been medalists in the Europeans as well. So I had a really good start, good base. We had, I think I've told you the story. We had a very tough, and for the kids, very tough coaches. So if you're talking even, or if you try to cheat and not do in class, the coach had the belt, the Russian Soviet Union belt with army belt, where you have the buckle and have a big USSR Russian star. So if you cheat, if you don't do what the coach said, he just tell you, okay, you get 5 hot shots. So you go down, and he gets this big belt. It's leather, thick leather, and this bucket, and he goes 5 shots into the right into your glutes. So make sure you never cheat again.
And if you go home and told your mom,
once I actually had that, where we had at the end of this training, it was about 40 kids, and everybody in the line, and he was just walking with the whistle and just whistle and counting push-ups. So we were doing about 100 push-ups. So you have to catch him, and you have to go with his whistle. So he whistle, you wait until he whistles again, and he does his 100. So I was doing, and it was so packed with the lads that one of the lads would start moving me, and I was like, hey, don't move me. And he was like, hey, I need space. I was like, no, you move. So the coach saw me, and I was like, oh, you guys cheating, go down. I was like, no, let's keep going. Because go down. So give me 5 shots. I was going home, I was sick, I was crying, it was painful, but not because it was painful, because it was because I wasn't cheating, you know. I was just the guy was pushing me. I was just like, hey, move. So I came home, and my mom saw me crying. I was like, why are you crying? I said, I had 5 shots. And she looked, and I had a star in my in my glute.
The Soviet star.
Still blooming over there, you know. And she goes, okay, you never go again there. I was like, no, mom, I have to go. And I start, cleaning my tears. I have to go because this, I like it a lot, and I was just. It was just unfortunate, but the system was different, obviously, you know. But it was tough. But I really glad that I had to go through this, you know.
Mm-hmm. And the Soviet Union, like I would have followed many sports. And when you think about like people that are listening to this, or the younger kids, are like, Soviet Union, it means nothing. But like if you made a Soviet Union team, like they picked from like Mongolia, Siberia, Tashkent, Dagestan, you name it, the whole area.
It's
if you made the team, you're a
Asia as well. Uzbekistan, you've got Tajikistan, you've got Kazakhstan, you've got Georgia, Dagestan, all these countries, Moldova, it goes Ukraine, Belarus, all these countries. And to make the team back then, it was probably as hard as the Olympics, because all these guys who will win, and there will be 20 guys that probably can get a world gold medal in your category, and they from the same USSR country. So it was very, very difficult.
And even like I've recently got into watching wrestling via Max. Max loves wrestling, so we watch a lot of wrestling. But like Max loves Jordan Burroughs, but Jordan Burroughs maybe, but then all the other wrestlers that he watches and likes are all Russian. You know what I mean? All influenced by you, but I like from a viewer point of view, the tricky, the arm drags, nomad power doubles off stages, super technical, and movement. The big guys, even the heavyweights, move like they're 50 kilos.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I think the difference a little bit between, I love Jordan Burroughs. I love him, and you've probably heard me talking so many times about him as well in the classes. He's an unreal athlete. He holds American 74 kilos for over 10 years, over a decade, right? And that's a big country. That's a big country to hold. So he, as an athlete, he's an unbelievable athlete. I also like his mentality, but not only his, but all high level wrestlers, American wrestlers especially as well, because they're so focused, so dedicated. Because margin for error in wrestling is very small, And talking about, as you said, we're talking about American wrestling and Russian. Personally, I also obviously love the USSR Russian style wrestling. That's what I thought was taught. American, I think the some of the things over there is that they start, in high school they have a high school folk style, and then in college they have college style, and only after the college, if you some of the pool of athletes that didn't get to try freestyle, then they don't really have much chance to go to Olympics or World Championship in freestyle or Greco, because that's only two. We don't have a college Olympic games, right?
Yeah.
And because some of the set rules are different there, and it's very. So that's why I think the America could be much better, because the pool of this talent, they stay with college or maybe high school wrestling, and they to transfer to change into the international freestyle sets of rules. Sometimes it get much more difficult because the lads been training in different countries like Russia from 6 years, 5 years old with the same set of rule freestyle Olympics. So they are
have the rules set down.
The rail set down, techniques down. But also I like because in Russian style is more, Moldovan style is more of a feeling of a feel. You know, that's why you tie the up and down and the big throws, nice movement, and it looks so slick. It looks almost effortless.
Yeah.
And where you see some of the maybe American wrestling or even Canada is very, very close. It's more kind of shots from a bit far away, you know, and kind of a lot of power, explosiveness used. Where in Russian is, don't get me wrong, still a lot of explosiveness, but it's a bit more slickness. I feel personally.
Yeah.
And this is where as well, historically, where the in Russia, USSR, Ossetia, Dagestan, the Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Moldova, all these countries kind of had a very established wrestling. A lot of Olympic champions coming out of these regions, and then obviously a lot of Russian wrestlers also moved to America, to Cuba, same for boxing, moved to Cuba, and then you'll see the development of these techniques of this school moving into the America, Canada, as I said, in Cuba, and these athletes are unbelievable as well. So now it's mixing. I see as well the wrestling kind of shifting, the change. You see maybe the Olympics in, let's say, 80s, or 70s, and Olympics, closer to 2000, or even last few Olympics, the techniques, the wrestling became, even the rules set also moved towards much more throws, much more beautiful, of much more action than before. So to bring it more followers, to bring more fans to see, because it's one of the things,
make it exciting.
I believe is one of the hardest sports, hands down. That I believe every single child, especially a boy, has to go through this, and it has to go through this for a few reasons. The reason number one is a tremendous discipline. Reason number two, there is no, on the mat, there is no corners. You can't cut corners,
No.
And as I said, we used to have this big Russian
the star.
The star, right? Sometimes you don't even need that. You just go on the mat and there is nowhere to hide.
No.
That's number one. Number two, it's very, the sport that somebody takes you down, throws you all the time, and you need to stand up and go.
Know he's going to do it again.
And they do it again, and you're probably going again. And you need to stand up and find motivation to go and actually, not this time, but next time I'm gonna get it right. So that's why it's so difficult, because it's easy to put your hands down, because it's so difficult sport, on the body. It's very young sport, men's sport. You don't really see anybody over 36, 7 really wrestle, even after 30. Now I see some of the athletes can push maybe after 30, 32, 33, very rare, and that'd be very...
that'd be all for high level wrestlers.
High level, but also very few, because it's like a car. When you go through 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles, 300 miles, you need to change, your brakes, your kneecaps, everything. So I feel the body is like a car. So that's why the sport doesn't allow you to go like in jiu-jitsu, or you can play. You
see, all jiu-jitsu guys, they take it up. You don't see guys taking up wrestling in their 40s going, will I play golf or jiu-jitsu? I'll do jiu-jitsu. Will I play golf or do wrestling? What's your man? That guy over there is going to pick you up and he's going to drop you. I think I'll stick with the old golf. It's different. They're different breed.
Yeah, but I think as well you have to love it.
Yeah.
I personally love it. I cannot. I have a broken back, and I'm every day on the mat. I just can't live without it.
I wrestle with Max. I love wrestling, and when I say I wrestle with Max, I get thrown around the place a lot. And even we're only drilling, and I'm drilling, I hit the ground. He takes me back up a drill, hit the ground. And then the next day I'm like, did I do squats or something yesterday? I'm walking around the place.
Yeah, they did the whole body.
What's wrong with me? You know, so I get it's hard on the body, but it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful.
And there's another thing as well, why it's hard on the body, because it's explained this way, you know, in striking, in boxing you throw a hand, in kickboxing you throw a leg. You know, in wrestling to do an attack, you need to throw the whole body. So if you want to do a takedown, the whole body need to go for the takedown. So every single muscle in the body have to be aligned with you for the technique you're doing. So that's why again it's, and another thing as well, you're thinking on your feet when you wrestle, because it's also a very intelligent game, because you against another person, another body. You don't need to hit him. You don't need to choke him, but you need to take him down. You need to grind him. You. That's why it's a nearly a breaking a wheel thing. You know.
Yeah.
If that's
you're moving and touching him this way, that way, the other way, but you're moving him this way. You're turning him because you're doing that to him because you want them standing there on that foot and you're going to blast them or take a single leg, or so it's like chess. You're just serving them up, serving them up, and then, you know, and him to you, he's trying to do his thing, you're trying to do your thing, and he's meet somewhere in the middle.
And that's why it's such a it's a game. And when you catch a person on a throw or a big throw or even on a takedown on like single or double leg, and when it's smooth, it's a nice feeling. You know, I always say when you catch somebody on a throw and it's a effortless throw, it's like that's a wrestling buzz. You know, in striking, you knock somebody down and you feel the buzz, right? In jiu-jitsu, you choke somebody and he taps. That's the feeling of in wrestling is a more of a, you know, catching and make it a smooth technique.
And I've experienced it. You have Albert wrestling, I've my two boys wrestling, but I've experienced it from a father looking onto the mat, and when you see your kid catching someone, saying a high crotch, and you see this person getting picked up off the ground, and you see the eyes, it's like going, Jesus Christ, I know it's going to happen. So it's beautiful to look at when someone does it right. You know,
I always say in wrestling, you know, when two wrestlers, good wrestlers, wrestle, it's like a poetry in emotion. It's a beautiful thing. As I said, and that's why I think, you know, every kid should do this. Every parent should to push, because number two is the discipline. You know, if you want to get good at it, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes, you know, you have to eat right, you have to eat on time, you have to sleep on time, you have to train on time, and you have to do it every day. You know, and you have to go through a lot of hours, and the discipline takes, because to get there. I'll tell you a story, right? I remember when I started, and I went in a few competition, I think after a year, and I was going up to the semi-finals, and then for the third place I'd lose. So I'd go to get for the third place and I lose, right? And I was living in a village, and we used to have the team being picked up by bus at the end of the village, right? So I would go back, you know, I would go to end of the village to get the bus and go to the tournament. So, you know, people see me, it's like, oh, sure, you're going for tournament, best of luck and everything. I was like, yeah, thank you so much. So coming back, oh, how are you? How did you go? I went for wrestle for third, you know, and then I got, you know, I lost for fourth. No worry, you know, keep it up. You'll get the next one. So I remember after a year of training, about nearly another year of competition, I was just getting into the third place, and I just in the semi-final, and I lost every single time, right? And I remember there's a few times that the bus comes back, and I'm like, I'm not going through that village again. I can't tell it. I can't say people that I gotta get in fourth place, right? So I had to go all around so nobody see me because I was so pissed. I was like, I have to win, right? And eventually, you know, as I've seen actually one of the posts you put when you stick with something, eventually you're gonna get good at it, right? So I stick with it. I was keep going, and again, it's like the same thing. If somebody take you down, you have to keep up again, and not quit, you know, and not quit. And that's important because a lot of guys have come in and they've tried, they've loved it a little bit, and then they start losing and like, that's not me, I'm losing, I don't like losing, and then they quit the left, right? So always keep going, and then that's why I always keep saying to Max, to when he was younger, to the lads, and so then it's like a switch goes, right? And one day it's just like, so that move, I should have done this, I should have done that. Wow, really? And then boom, I got a first place, and that's it. And then it's kinda, you're already in the first top 3 every single competition. You already know that you're there. So I think sometimes you just need to do this amount of hours, amount of competition to understand the game, to understand the field. And I was very young at that stage. But as I said, I had to go through this, that, you know, people in the village was like, hey, Sergey, again, 4th place. You know, like, and then I just took to walk around the village, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. That you stay at it and it go through and it happens. And the most important as well that when you come in the mat and you train with another guys that wrestle as hard, then you're coming out, and whether you're a student, whether you working already, you know, you look at things and you're like, wow, do I need to do an exam? Okay, I'll make an exam, no problem, because I was wrestling with these killers,
murderers,
you know, and I survived, and I not only survived, I take them down as well. So you're getting this confidence, right? You're getting the confidence, you're getting skill, you're getting confidence, you're getting skill, you're getting a discipline. You focused, you're physically strong, you're technically strong, and what happens then if you wanna do things outside of a mat, outside of wrestling, it's happened so much easier. Why? Because you as a person stronger, again, physically stronger, technically stronger. It's not that you would be and go bully somebody.
No.
That's not what the sports guys do.
In your mind.
But in your mind, you're tougher. You're in your mind. You know that you can actually go through your comfort zone much wider. For somebody, it's a panic zone. For you, it's just a comfort zone. So then you go out there and whatever you do, and you know you would be much more competitive to, you know, if you look for a new job or if you know looking to go to pass exams and get to the college degree, you know you'll be much more stronger because your mind is strong. If you need to study something, you put your head down because you've done this on the mat many times. You've achieved something. You've went in tournament, you know, and that's not easy because you need to focus. You need to make weight. You know as well now, and in wrestling how, I mean, it's notorious for cutting a lot of weight, right? Cutting a lot of weight with just not eating nothing, with just drinking water or eating food, so that's why I think, you know, it builds a character, it builds from the guy or boy, builds a man, and he goes out there and he can take a right decision. He can be confident. He can be strong. And another thing as well, it's a stress relief, best stress relief I ever had when I was a kid till today. You know, if I'm stressed or whatever in life, I come in a mat, and about 10 minutes I go in the gym, and it's just like everything is normal. I'm in my world. I'm in the world that doesn't anything else kind of coming in while I'm here. I'm going outside and things are going, your phone going, everything going, but here you in a different planet.
Do you see about that stress relief? It's like self-help should be called helping others. So you're out there helping others. This is how you do it, and showing people, and people are looking at you to learn stuff, and by you showing them the stuff that you know, you walk away from it automatically feeling better. You know what I mean?
Feeling
better.
Yeah, because I do it, you know, my friend had told me one day, like, I do it for the lads, but I also do it for myself. Right? I also do it for myself because it's also gives me something that, because I love doing this. And I feel like I do a good thing.
Passion.
I give passion, and I give these skills that I've got it from my coaches to hopefully to the lads, and it just make the satisfaction in you, you know, and you just happy. You just feel happy, you know.
No, it's a camaraderie. Like, I've seen it in other sports, and they have it too. And I see it, like, I see some of your friends coming in the gym and going wrestlers, and they come in, they shake everyone's hand, and I'm not a wrestler, but my sons are wrestlers, but there's a camaraderie and a bond there that I don't know anything about, but it's there between you all.
It's a different, and I tell you why, because it's so hard sport that I train, and I might see you in never seen you in my life, but I've seen you somewhere else, and I see you cauliflower, and I know you are a hard working guy, and I know you honest guy, and I know you know what's hard work, you know what's sport. And I tell you a funny story, anywhere I go in the world and I see somebody with a cauliflower, I come in, we shake hands, we laugh, and if it's in the evening, we might have a beer, we talk, we might invite each other to a session, we train, and it is a camaraderie, 100% that I never seen in any other sports. I tell you for sure, because of this, the bond, and another part as well. You know, I believe that in wrestling, it's one of the toughest sport to get the Olympic medal. Because the level of competition, the level of stress, the level of commitment in your life. You like training 3 times a day. You training in the morning. You had your breakfast. You going for a nap. You training in the afternoon. You have your food. You training in the evening. You have food, nap, and this is all day. You living just like a machine. You need to, and that's what people do. They put their lives, literally lives, and some of the guys might not even realize it. 3 times a day over 10 to 20 years of their life. Sacrifice. Training every single day, 3 times a day, to get to Olympics, and this is. And another thing as well, it's amateur sport, right? So it's not professional. You don't get a lot of money out of it. No. But if you get that medal, if you get that gold medal, it's worth more than this money. You know, it's something that I guess is bigger than money. And another thing as well, that's why wrestlers, because of such a hard sport, you never see a wrestler trash talking. No. This is almost not in the. It's almost bad to do that because. Again, so much hard work, and everybody's so humble, and you can be humbled very quickly. And even if you're Olympic champion, somebody can come in the door that's sharp and humble you. And that's why most of the wrestlers would, you know, you wouldn't see them in trash talking.
And you brought wrestling really when you came. Like, a lot of guys knew a few techniques, but there was nobody that came into Ireland when you came with the straight wrestling, that Soviet wrestling. You brought it into SBG when you joined John's gym, and a lot of guys were influenced by it. Paddy used to do your classes, Owen used to do your classes, and most famously your Conor McGregor's wrestling coach. And a lot of the younger guys now, if you look at the UFC, if you look at any of the big promotions, a lot of them are dominated by wrestlers. You know, so a lot of the younger kids, my son included, Alex, Brandon, all these savages, and they're like, we need to wrestle, and they wrestle. Do you think that these younger kids, you see something different in them, that instead of before, MMA was so new in Ireland, but now these guys are coming in with a decent wrestling base, and the guys over in Andy's gym and Team Rhino as well, with Bill, they've a good wrestling base, they're focused on it as well. Do you think that will change things for Irish MMA fighters and Irish MMA?
I think it definitely. I mean, when I came over in Ireland, it's about 15 years ago, wrestling was almost unknown here.
Yeah.
Right. MMA also was unknown until Conor started, and the lads started winning, and obviously Conor got so big, and that's all over the world got big. But here specifically in Ireland, when I came, and some of the people came and was working here, and people would look at my at work, look at my ears, and like, oh, you do rugby? I was like, no, guys, it's freestyle wrestling, And I was like, oh, is it a WWE thing, I was like, no. Oh, you hugging each other? And I was like, no, let me hug you. So people were, obviously that's how I got introduced to Irish humor and Irish.
He would say that to me. Oh, your son wrestles off the top rope. I'm like, nah, man.
I was getting really close, I was getting really annoyed from it because I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, when you're hugging each other, I was like, oh, stop. And people did not, I guess I didn't, it was a new sport here as well, and once the last, but I tell you at that time, Conor, Paddy, Cahill, Owen, Phil Milputer, all the kind of OG lads now, originals, Chris Fields, all the lads, they were the lads that always come into my classes. And I came from Moldova, in the country where there's no wrestling, and I felt like I cannot live without wrestling. And when I came in to actually one of the two Polish lads brought me to John's to SBG, and I came in. It was a cool story. I came in because I met these two Polish lads right in Nice in just some usual hotel gym. And I see these lads walking in a wrestling shoes. So I was lifting the bands. Right? I see the wrestling shoes. I'm like, what? So I throw that. So I start running. I literally ran because I thought just in case they leave, I never will find out where's the wrestling mats here. So I ran. I was like, lads, you wrestlers? And they're like, yeah, we do wrestling. We do jiu-jitsu. He's like, okay, what are you doing? Can you show me? They're like, yeah, we'll show you on Wednesday. So I actually drove them to John's, and I came in. John had he had a jiu-jitsu class, right? Actually pretty packed. Back in the old gym was maybe 20 guys, and so the lads introduced me to John.
The long mile round.
So the lads introduced me to John. Went to change and jump into and start to wrestle as well. So John looked at me as well. Oh, you broke on the ear, so cauliflower wrestlers. Yeah, okay, yeah, go change. So I went change. He goes, go in the middle. So he gave me straight away a shark tank, right? So he goes, go in the middle. So whoever take you down, go in the middle. I was like, okay. And obviously, in fairness to the lads, they only were doing the jiu-jitsu, so they're only doing on a mat. And I was pretty fresh from, even with the injury, but still pretty fresh technically and everything, as being competing myself, even with the injury. So I went, I think 2 rounds with everybody, and then I was like, John, I'm actually tired. How long do you want to go for? He goes, okay. And at that day after training, he goes, would you mind coaching us, and I'll give you keys from the gym? And I was like, no way. I only came in just to see if I'll be able to train and I'll get a keys. I was like, of course. And then all this group of lads, like I was saying, Pat, Conor, Cahill, Ash, all the lads, Chris Fields, everyone, right? And all they would come on roadie, right? So all of them coming and all of them looking like this, eager to learn. Yeah. And I'm like, are you serious? It's like, it's like, are you serious? Let's go, lads. Nice. And we would do, like you could ask the lads, we would do a training. I would completely forgot about the time because I was so excited that the whole country were laughing at me saying, you guys hugging each other. And this group of guys, they just working and just looking at me and show more and more. And I was like, I couldn't believe so. I couldn't stop just coaching them. And I remember, I think it was Paddy, he goes, Sergey, do you think we're going to go home or what? I was like, what? He goes, look at what time is it now. I'm looking, it was 11:30 at night. And I just couldn't stop. It's like, oh yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, well actually already also tired. Yeah. But they were like, it was amazing because the lads were eager to learn, and I came and I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So I was giving everything and I was so patient about it, and the lads were just taking all in, and I think there was it was fantastic, to be honest. It was fantastic bond, and I think that's why the lads then implemented wrestling in their games, amazing jiu-jitsu game, striking game, and there was a success obviously of the Irish MMA.
That was the first wave, and that was them wrestling sessions. Like Paddy said it, they've all said it in different articles and podcasts, were the stuff of legend. You know what I mean? How long is it going on for? Well, we'll see how it goes.
It was
wrestling out in the car park.
It was brilliant, yeah. And then I had the keys, so Conor would call me on Sunday. Sergey, you want to wrestle? I was like, and back in the day, he was with D. He didn't even actually car. D had to bring him, and on Sundays, and he calls me and was like, "Do you want to wrestle?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, I'm in Ireland, and somebody asked me to wrestle. I was like, "Of course." So we've been training a lot as well. It was fantastic, and that's why I think, obviously, as you said, a lot of wrestlers became UFC champions. So lads understanding. Also, the lads here, the younger generation, now they go into the to Bahrain for the IMF, right?
IMF.
The World Championship.
Yeah. In St. Petersburg. Well, the kids are, the younger ones are going to, the team one is in Bahrain.
So now they understand, they've already competed once or twice, some of the lads, and they've seen what's happening there, right? Because of the set of rules. So basically the wrestlers are winning.
Yes.
So they're realizing this. You can just take somebody down, stay on top. Kids, I think it's just a 1 round. Teams, I think it's 2 or 3 rounds, 2-3 minutes, no shots on the ground. So the lads understanding this.
The wrestlers are winning.
Fair play to them that they understand and put in the time in, and I think you'll see the benefit, and they'll see the benefit out of it.
Well. So I said I'd just talk to you for a bit. I didn't want to eat too much of your time up. Well, be getting Sergey on again, because Sergey, I love talking to Sergey about wrestling, about life, about fatherhood. Sergey loves the outdoors and everything like that. So give Sergey a follow on Instagram. It's always great to listen to his mind about wrestling. And for all you young MMA fighters, the reason why Conor McGregor is the biggest sports star in the world is because he's ringing people on a Sunday looking to train. He's finding a way rather than an excuse,
100%.
And that's that wrestling mindset, that some people like it and some people don't. And the ones that like it and they keep going, you know what? They're the ones that make it.
Absolutely.
And maybe not in fighting, but in life, in jobs or whatever, because they know what it is to grind.
In life, and that's what what I want when I coach you guys and kids. I call, not everybody's gonna make it, right?
No.
And
no.
Not everybody is gonna make it. Not
teeny
because,
20%. Teeny.
And not everybody have to make it.
No.
But what I want from them, that they gonna be a good kids. Good people. They instead of going and like I see a lot of teenagers just going and just wasting their time. I think we should have another chat about the parenting. I think it's very, very important. Because I had, when I used to coach guys in high school in Florida, parents were coming in to me and asking me, can you do my kids, and make him, be an athlete and keep winning and wrestle well. And the lady was a bit, nicely to say, it's overweight, and the kid was overweight. So
she wasn't living the life.
Yeah, so a lot of things, not everything coach is going to do. So 99% is the parenting.
Personal responsibility.
And a lot of people don't realize this. The parenting is number one. This is what you need to do. Kids are flowers, and we need to water them every day. But I think we'll keep this one from
we will. Please like, share, subscribe, give Sergey a follow.
And give John a follow as well.
Thank you very much. It's great to talk to you. We'll get you on again. And I've recently got Sergey into a bit of sea swimming.
Yes, I love it. The only thing, I don't want to sound like excuse, but the only thing I don't do often because I have a broken back. My muscle get tight. I shouldn't even wrestle. I should be in a wheelchair 10 25 years ago, whatever. But I still walking and still doing but we go again. It's May now, so we can go again.
We go again. We will go down the shelters, Port Marnock. We'll go again.
Right,
nice one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whopper. Yeah.